What's going on, everyone? This is Matt, SqueakyClean here, and today we're going to be doing something really cool. Stay tuned. Alright, so I just painted my Civic. It's in the garage, and I'm in the process of upgrading my roof trim. So obviously when I was painting the car and I did the roof right there, I'm not going to put the old dinky winky trim on. So this is brand new OEM trim for the coupe, because this is a 99 DX with a B16 swap in it. So it's kind of an SIR in a way, but this is brand new trim for a coupe. And you guys are like, well, how the hell did you get it? Because it's discontinued. Well, I'll show you something. So this is really the cool and the point of this whole video, because I'm changing up. I painted the whole car, so I'm changing this trim up, and I managed to find these from used Honda, not used, but Honda parts. This one as well. So everything kind of will have like a fresh trim. I'm still looking for the trunk trim, which goes around here. I got to do some sourcing out, but I like to do that so it's sealed. And I got the Mac bumper kit, which I'm going to be installing. Mine isn't too bad because I kind of put screws through it and stuff like that, but I'm going to install the Mac kit, which I'm going to do a vlog about as well. But for now, I want to give you guys a trick for the OEM trim. And the reason why I want to do that is because the coupe trim is discontinued. All the trims that you can kind of get from Honda Japan or from various other places are for the sedans. And as you guys know it, exactly, the sedan trim is a lot longer than the coupe trim. So this is my old, worn out, weathered coupe trim. And this is the new sedan trim. And that's partially my problem, is because you need to be very specific when you kind of order the trim. I thought I got lucky with it, so I purchased it, but it actually ended up being the coupe trim that is a bit too long. But this is kind of the point of this vlog video, and what the point is you could actually trim the coupe to make fit, you can trim the sedan to make fit on the coupe, as long as you have the right distances in between here, because this is where it latches on, and you have the actual right lengths. You might need to trim this. You do need to use special type of scissors to trim it, because there is a metal piece inside of these. Okay, they're reinforced, so you can't just cut them with rubber, because they have like a liner. But I'm using these Milwaukee heavy duty scissors, and they seem to cut really through. But what you need to do, and this is sort of a DIY for those that are able to get the coupe trim, the sedan trim, you're able to trim that in order to fit the coupe. And the way you do it is you kind of line them along and you mark the edges. The beauty is that this little clip is actually on a rail. And this rail goes all the way through to where the distance is. So yes, you've guessed it. I'm going to turn on the light. You've guessed it. If you trim the top piece over here and then remove the tabs of this retainer, I'm going to zoom in, okay? You're actually able to retain it and clip that retainer down to that distance in order to coincide with the actual distance of what the coupe is. So, and the beauty is this channel or this clip actually clips on into the metal liner that's in there, or the metal sort of piece of aluminum that's in there, because it doesn't just latch into the actual rubber part. So it latches on top. So you can easily, and I did it for the other one that I just showed you about, trim this using an X-Acto knife like this. You know, I'm team yellow, so let's not get twisted over here. I do like Milwaukee for certain things, but I buy whichever is cheaper, especially for this kind of consumables. But I like using both, so I'm not, you know, hating on DeWalt here for those DeWalt fans. But anyways, so you're able to trim this up into the distance that you've marked, and then cut this off, and that'll trim the whole piece, and then literally clip this on over here to mimic the distance of the coupe. So I'm not sure if this is a known hack. I'm just sort of sharing with the ones that might not know it and that are restoring Ks. They're getting now very, very hard to find, especially in good condition. But for those that are only able to get sort of the sedan trim, you're able to modify the sedan trim in order to fit the coupe. And I'll show you guys exactly what I've done on the next video. So I've cut the extra piece. Now I'm going to pry it out using a flathead like this. And then as I pry it out, I'm going to remove it, and then I'll straighten out the clips using pliers like this in order to be able to latch them on. And latching them on is actually very simple, but this already trimmed it somewhat. I kind of left it a little bit more because different cars do vary. So it's probably better to sort of trim just enough to be able to remove the clip, but not fully trim it, because you're going to be doing some adjustment on the actual car to make sure that it tucks in underneath the rear window flap or the rubber piece that covers the window. So you don't want to cut too short so there's a gap. You want to cut just enough so it goes under, fits snug, and it kind of seals it nicely so the water doesn't get in there. So in this instance, I cut a little bit longer than what it needs to. But now what you're going to do is you're going to take the X-Acto knife and you're going to literally slice it out up until the end point over here, and that will give you the exposure to be able to actually get the channel, right? Because if you look at it over here, there's the metal piece that's in there. You can kind of see it. This is the shiny, and then this top trim gasket is just rubber. So you can literally cut that off or trim it in order to get to the aluminum piece, and then you can basically pry off and pry on this clip, which is the mounting clip. And that's essentially what you're going to do in order to get this fresh trim onto your car. For a coupe, for a sedan, obviously, because a coupe is not available. So I'll show you that in just another video, how the finished product looks. Yeah, so there is a clip removed. Before you put it in, probably a good idea to bend them away using like pliers in order so they'll be able to go on. So then you can clip them on and then kind of latch them on. So probably a good idea to straighten these out. But this is a clip removed that you're going to be essentially mating to this location here because you've already trimmed your actual you know, liner or the top roof trim, and that's all there is to it, really. Once you clap it in, it'll be able to fit no problem. So, but that's just wanted to show you guys the actual clip that's removed and how they're actually pressed on. So this is the trim piece, and then that exposes the actual channel that you're going to clip the bracket onto. Right, it's very soft rubber, just literally cuts off with an X-Acto knife, and that allows you to mate it. We're fortunate that this rubber trim has the aluminum piece as a guide, because it would be really, really hard to latch on to the actual rubber. So it's kind of cool out of the Honda engineers. They put it in for rigidity. But essentially what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clip that piece onto here. I'm going to try to mate it to my car. In worst case scenario, I'm just going to trim the end for it to fit correctly, and I'll show you guys the finished result. So this is kind of interesting enough, guys, as well. So this is literally the OEM piece as I removed the clip to transfer over onto my modified piece right here. And look, I used an X-Acto knife to sort of trim the rubber. It's flat. It's enough for it to clip. We'll be okay. But look at this OEM piece from Honda Japan. It makes me wonder whether when they were designing these, they literally did what I just did. Look, the cut isn't even straight. This is directly from when you get it and you buy it from Honda. Okay, so the cut isn't even straight, which is it's just kind of hilarious a bit. And it looks like they literally did the same thing, where they took an X-Acto knife and they cut it just to be able for them to be able to mate, to be able to mate the actual clip onto it. So we're not really doing, and this is, you can see where the clip was actually attached. So we're not really doing anything different than actually Honda of Japan did, which is kind of hilarious. But I guess maybe when they make these strips, they make them in bulk, or the company that makes it for them makes it in bulk, and then the company sort of modifies it for it to work. Because I would imagine this is one single piece. Now I'm just assuming, but yeah. So really, for an OEM piece, this looks kind of rough. It looks like somebody literally took an X-Acto knife and put in the clip. So that's kind of weird. If you guys know anything, chime in the comments. And I mean, I'm not sure if anybody actually did what we did here on this hack, but it works perfect, and it's a good way to sort of source out and grab the sedan trim that is still somewhat available, and be able to modify it for your coupe. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to install it, and you guys see the final result. Right, and here's the finished product. Nothing like brand new OEM trim with a freshly painted roof. What? So that's all there is to it. So that's how you do the sedan roof trim. You trim it using the X-Acto knife, reuse the clip, and then apply it to your coupe. There she is. Relax, people. It's not a show car. It's clean, but it's not a show car. So I'm going to be replacing these tomorrow, and I got new 2 of these as well for the EK. So I can't wait to replace those. So these and this will be replaced tomorrow to brand new on both sides. The top's already replaced. What a difference. And this thing almost looks brand new. So that's all there is to it. All the best. Hopefully this helps you guys out.